Throughout history, the greatest achievements have often been born out of adversity. The people we admire most, those whose stories inspire us, frequently faced tremendous obstacles that threatened to break their will, shatter their dreams, or halt their progress entirely. Yet, rather than crumbling under pressure or retreating at the first sign of difficulty, they found a way to transform hardship into opportunity. This is the central premise of The Obstacle is the Way, a book by Ryan Holiday that draws on the ancient wisdom of Stoic philosophy to reveal a powerful framework for turning challenges into triumphs. Imagine standing before a towering wall. At first glance, it blocks your path, looming large and seemingly insurmountable. Most would see only the barrier, lamenting their bad luck or searching for shortcuts around it. But what if the wall wasn't just an impediment, but an invitation? What if, by engaging with it directly, you could discover hidden reserves of strength, creativity, and resilience within yourself? This is the mindset that The Obstacle is the Way invites you to embrace. The book's core message is that obstacles are not to be feared or avoided, but welcomed as the very means by which we grow and advance. Drawing on the insights of Stoic thinkers such as Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, Holiday breaks down this philosophy into three interconnected disciplines: perception, action, and will. Each discipline serves as a lens through which to view and overcome the challenges that life inevitably presents. Perception is the first discipline, and it concerns how we interpret the difficulties we encounter. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This simple yet profound insight forms the bedrock of the Stoic approach. Rather than reacting to adversity with frustration, panic, or despair, we can choose to see it with clarity and objectivity. We can strip away our emotional judgments and ask, what is really happening here? What can I control? What can I learn from this? Consider the story of Thomas Edison. In 1914, a fire destroyed much of his research laboratory, along with years of hard work and invaluable records. Instead of succumbing to grief or rage, Edison calmly told his son to fetch his mother, saying, "She'll never see anything like this again." He recognized that the fire was a chance to start anew. Within weeks, the lab was rebuilt and back in operation, and Edison would later remark that the disaster cleared away old rubbish and allowed him to focus on new opportunities. Edison's ability to reframe adversity, to perceive the obstacle as a gift rather than a curse, was key to his legendary persistence and innovation. The second discipline, action, is about responding to obstacles not with resignation, but with bold and purposeful effort. It's easy to become paralyzed in the face of difficulty, to wait for circumstances to change, or for someone else to solve our problems. But the Stoics urge us to focus on what we can do, no matter how small the first step may seem. Action, taken with courage and creativity, is how we move through and beyond the barriers before us. History is replete with examples of individuals who refuse to let obstacles dictate their destiny. During the American Civil War, Ulysses S. Grant faced daunting odds and repeated setbacks. Yet, instead of retreating, he persisted, adapting his strategies and pressing forward with relentless determination. His willingness to act decisively, even when the situation appeared bleak, ultimately turned the tide of the war and secured victory for the Union. Grant's story illustrates that the way forward is often through the very thing that stands in our way, and that action, rooted in clear perception, can transform adversity into achievement. The third discipline, will, is perhaps the most subtle and powerful of all. Will is the inner strength that allows us to endure what we cannot control. It is the resilience to persist when progress is slow, when setbacks accumulate, and when the world seems indifferent or even hostile to our efforts. The Stoics teach that while we cannot dictate the events that befall us, we can control our response to them. We can cultivate an inner fortress of resolve, patience, and acceptance, Take the example of Viktor Frankl, the Austrian psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor. Imprisoned in Nazi concentration camps, Frankl endured unimaginable suffering and loss. Yet, in the depths of despair, he discovered a profound truth: that even when everything else is taken from us, we retain the freedom to choose our attitude. Frankl's will to find meaning amid suffering not only sustained him, but later became the foundation of his influential psychological theories. His story is a testament to the power of will, to the human capacity to endure, adapt, and grow, even in the harshest circumstances. The Obstacle is the Way is filled with such stories, ancient and modern, each illustrating how the principles of perception, action, and will can be applied to overcome adversity. But the book is more than a collection of anecdotes. It is a practical guide for anyone seeking to navigate the inevitable challenges of life with grace and purpose. One of the key insights offered is the importance of focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. Too often, we expend our energy worrying about outcomes, other people's opinions, or events beyond our influence. The Stoics remind us that our power lies in our own thoughts, choices, and actions. By accepting what we cannot change and directing our efforts toward what we can, we free ourselves from anxiety and frustration and channel our resources where they will have the greatest impact. Another essential lesson is the value of persistence. Obstacles rarely yield at the first attempt. Progress is often slow, uneven, and marked by setbacks. Yet, as Holiday points out, it is the willingness to keep going, to try, fail, adjust, and try again, that separates those who succeed from those who surrender. The path to mastery in any endeavor is paved with obstacles. Each one is an invitation to grow stronger, wiser, and more resourceful. Equally important is the practice of humility. Obstacles have a way of humbling us, stripping away our illusions of control or superiority. But this humility is not a weakness. It is a source of strength. By acknowledging our limitations and embracing a beginner's mindset, we remain open to learning, adaptation, and improvement. Humility allows us to ask for help, to seek new perspectives, and to recognize that every challenge contains within it the seeds of growth. The Obstacle is the Way also emphasizes the importance of embracing discomfort. In a culture that often prioritizes ease, convenience, and instant gratification, we may be tempted to avoid anything that causes pain or difficulty. Yet, it is precisely by leaning into discomfort, by willingly engaging with challenge, that we develop resilience, character, and the capacity to achieve great things. The Stoics encourage us to welcome hardship as a teacher and to see adversity as the proving ground of our values and virtues. Adaptability is another crucial theme. Obstacles demand that we be flexible, creative, and willing to adjust our approach. Sometimes the path forward requires us to change direction, to let go of old plans, or to invent new solutions on the fly. By remaining adaptable, we turn setbacks into stepping stones and obstacles into opportunities for innovation. At the heart of the Stoic approach is the idea that every obstacle contains an opportunity. This is not mere optimism or wishful thinking. It is a practical philosophy grounded in the realities of life. Difficulty is not a detour from the path, but the path itself. By meeting adversity with clarity, courage, and resilience, we unlock our greatest potential. In daily life, this philosophy can be applied in countless ways. When faced with failure, we can choose to see it as feedback rather than defeat. When criticized or misunderstood, we can use the experience to cultivate patience and empathy. When confronted with loss or disappointment, we can seek meaning and purpose in the midst of pain. Each obstacle, no matter how daunting, is an invitation to grow. Holiday also addresses the importance of community and service. While the journey through adversity is ultimately a personal one, we are not meant to travel it alone. By supporting others in their struggles, and by seeking help when we need it, we build bonds of trust, compassion, and solidarity. The obstacles we face are often shared, and by working together, we can achieve more than we ever could alone. The lessons of The Obstacle is the Way are timeless, yet they are especially relevant in our fast-paced, unpredictable world. Change, uncertainty, and challenge are constants in life. Yet, by adopting the Stoic principles of perception, action, and will, we can navigate these challenges with greater confidence and purpose. To put these ideas into practice, Holiday suggests a series of exercises and reflections. Begin by examining your own obstacles, personal, professional, or otherwise. Ask yourself, how am I perceiving this challenge? Am I reacting emotionally, or am I seeing it objectively? What actions can I take right now to move forward? What aspects of this situation are within my control, and what must I accept? How can I use this obstacle as an opportunity to grow? Over time, these practices become habits. Perception becomes sharper, action more decisive, and will more resilient. The obstacles that once seemed overwhelming become manageable, and then, in retrospect, even valuable. We begin to see that every difficulty is an essential part of the journey, and that by facing our challenges head-on, we become the authors of our own destiny. In the end, The Obstacle is the Way is more than a book about overcoming adversity. It is a call to live with greater intention, courage, and integrity. It reminds us that the path to greatness is not a straight line, but a series of trials that test and refine us. Every obstacle, no matter how formidable, contains within it the seeds of transformation. As you move forward in your own life, consider the words of Marcus Aurelius. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The next time you encounter an obstacle, pause, reframe it. Ask what it has to teach you. Take action, however small. Persevere, even when progress is slow. And remember, the obstacle before you is not the end of the road. In many ways, it is just the beginning. By embracing challenge, you become stronger, wiser, and more capable than you ever imagined. This is the enduring lesson of Stoicism and the timeless wisdom at the heart of The Obstacle is the Way. The difficulties you face are not there to stop you. They are there to elevate you, to reveal what you are truly capable of, and to guide you toward a life of purpose, resilience, and fulfillment. The obstacle is not the enemy. The obstacle is the way.